Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
There we go.
That was like personal PA on like a TV show set, not a movie set.
Yes.
Not like
No, this is Blue Bloods sound.
Exactly. If
Yeah.
I heard that, I would say there's an SVU scene about to be shot.
I've just been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
I'm just working right
Yes.
now. You
They're
know.
about to find her dead, mutilated body in an alley. You know, like that's the
snap. Sound?
That's that SVU snap. you
Is
know?
that that what the serial killers hear in their head?
Yeah.
They hear a clap.
Yeah. They go and action. Okay.
I wasn't in character. I'm sorry. And now I'm in. That was what Manson did.
yeah. Exactly.
All right, we're back.
Yes.
We had Taylor Yarish on last week.
Wow.
Another Taylor.
Wow. You're just stacking it up with Taylor's.
Stacking it up with when I was explaining it to my girlfriend, I was like, "Yeah, Taylor's coming over, and then Taylor is coming over after that."
Right. And she was like,
"What?"
"Are you having a stroke? Are you losing it? What's fucking happening?"
Well, and then I couldn't feel the left side of my face.
Right.
And then there was a whole thing going
Right.
on.
And you could only smell toast, and there you go. And then you film.
I'm surprised you knew a side effect of having a stroke.
That was the thing. Is like it's one of those like you know when you like know. Like you know certain aspects of things only in a joke format, like only for the bit.
Yeah, you learned science through open mics.
Oh yeah. Like I remember like being in like elementary, like high school. No, not elementary, like middle school, high school, and like somebody be like, "Yeah, does somebody smell something like burning?" I was like, "You're probably having a stroke," and just like. I don't know why I thought that was funny, but I thought it was very funny to make somebody feel really anxious for a second because they're like, am I? I don't know what that means.
You're like, I can't smell anything. And they're like, you can't smell anything? You're like, no, is that a problem? And they're like, yeah. And it was a series of tests after that.
Yeah, so I am not as hungover today.
You didn't go out last night.
I did go out, but I didn't get fucked up.
Wow. You
I
just
know.
shaved your head.
I shaved my head.
You just,
I went full Britney last night. Just fucking.
Natalie Portman and...
Yeah. Yeah, V for Vendetta. That was me. The last 2 weekends, the last 2 episodes have been on here.
Hungover.
Horribly hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah, like wolfing down munchkins before we go.
There we go.
There you go. See,
thank you for doing that.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Well, Dunkin' sponsors me now, so
is that
I'm
it?
legally obligated to say that munchkins, yeah.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or fight us.
Or fight us. We'd rather fight you, Dunkin' Donuts. We'd love to see who you bring to the table for...
Fucking like John Cena or something.
Yeah,
just
be
a real
John Cena.
boss. And just Bill Burr, actually.
Yeah, they'd show up and be like, I thought this was for a Make-A-Wish thing. Why am I fighting?
And you're like, it kind of is.
It
You
kind
did
of
make
is.
a wish come true.
Yeah.
I need more listeners.
Yeah, exactly. So not as fucked up. Not as hungover today. Got terrible sleep last night. Terrible sleep.
So did I.
Really?
Yeah. You have a dream?
No dream.
Really?
So what's been happening is the old allergies been kicking in. The old
gay old allergies.
the old sneezies. And Char's not gonna like me saying this, but she snores sometimes.
It's what it is.
She's a snoring person occasionally. And that's that part.
That's when she drinks.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, so she can sleep through her own snoring.
Right.
So like I woke up and I'm all sniffy, and she's all snory. And then at one point she just wakes up and she's like I have to like tap her and like pretend like I'm asleep. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I have to like nudge her because if I wake her up, she'll be up.
It sounds like you could have made a beat out of this. It's just...
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how
exactly.
We Will Rock You originally came up. People don't talk about that.
People don't talk about that nearly enough. So I'm nudging her, and then I'm trying to like go back to sleep, but then my sniffies are going. So it's like it's this perfect storm of like I nudged her, she kind of woke up, and then I sniffed, and then she woke up, and she's like, "You need to get more allergy medication." And then I was like,
Then you jumped out of bed.
"Yeah," I literally was like, "You need to figure out your snoring." And she was like, "That's uncalled for," and I. It's like
No, it's very cold for.
yeah,
We're
it's
in bed and
very
we're
cold,
sleeping.
but yeah, exactly. You're keeping me up in the same way that I'm keeping you up. And she's like, you know what? I can't have this argument with you right now. And I literally was just like, I was like kind of pissed, but I was also like, my allergies are kicking in. She's snoring. I'm not gonna be. So I just went upstairs to sleep on the couch because I'm rich as fuck and I get 2 floors.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Don't ask about the hole in his ceiling.
Right.
But yeah, he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. Doing pretty well. And I just like turned on a TV show, and then I just ended up staying up an extra 3 hours. Like I literally got up at 3, stayed up till 6.
What show did you watch though?
I finished Invincible. I know you're not gonna like
I
that.
don't even know what that is.
It's Robert Kirkman, the guy who he created Walking Dead.
I know that show.
Yeah.
That's a bad show.
It's a bad show, but it's a great comic book. So it started
I've
off,
heard that.
Yeah, it started off as a comic book, and he's the writer creator of the comic book. So
He's
he
the
wrote
George R.R. Martin. Isn't that the guy who created
Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Sorry, I see what you're saying.
Very similar.
He's the successful George R.R. Martin, because I mean, yes,
He's more successful than George R.R. Martin?
I think so. That's a good question. I would say now, yeah, because Walking Dead's like so syndicated. It's like 11 seasons. You think he's making bank,
Game of Thrones is the biggest show arguably ever.
right? But the quality now, obviously, yes, it dipped in the last season, but it's like people still care about what Robert Kirkman has to do. Nobody gives a fuck what George R. R. Martin. has to say.
The Game of Thrones. First of all, let me just preface this with saying I hate Game of Thrones. I hate Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They're doing a prequel. They're filming the prequel
Right.
of Game of Thrones.
Right, but what I'm saying is like Robert Kirkman's brand, like the stuff that he puts out, he's more like a Shonda Rhimes. He's more like a Shonda Rhimes.
You're break.
No.
You think I know who that is?
You don't know who Shonda Rhimes is?
What the fuck is Shonda Rhimes?
Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, not Big Little
made
Lies.
Grey's Anatomy made Scandal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same universe. She also did How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she's like a pro.
Oh yeah, that's
everything she touches is
brilliant.
just like good,
Fantastic.
like good like trash quality like syndicated television.
just easy to digest.
Exactly. It goes on forever. It's the format of a soap opera, just premiumized. Like that's it.
Yes.
That's her thing. So Robert Kirkman does a similar thing where like he has the series and then it gets syndicated and picked up.
But for a comic book.
Yes. And now
Okay.
and then it became a TV show. So
Gotcha.
Invincible is another series that he wrote the fuck out of. He has like 200 issues of this that all of his universe.
Okay.
And it's his own superhero universe. So it's got like a Superman equivalent. It's got like
Smaller Marvel.
it's a very small, but it's a like compact universe. Like there's like 3 comics that mesh over. It's not a whole thing. So they just released a cartoon of it, and it's fucking great. It's very violent. It's very gory, but it's also like well written. It's well acted. It's got the Asian actor from Walking Dead, and he was just nominated for a bunch of Oscars.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah. So he's the voice, and then J.K. Simmons.
I love J.K. Simmons.
Right? He plays the dad. He plays the father in it. And then Sandra Oh, the Asian actress from
Yeah, from Grey's?
from Grace
Yeah.
and from Killing Eve, which I love.
Yes.
She's the mother character. And then it's just everybody's in it. Mahershala Ali has a
So they got a nice little cast going on.
great cast. And it's just violent. It's very violent. And it kind of takes the idea of being a superhero and then just like what would that really look like with like bloodshed and violence and like
Right.
yeah. So it's very cool. It's a very smart series. Anyway, was watching that till about 6 a.m. Finished watching that, and then I started watching Another Round. Have you heard of Another Round?
Is that the movie?
Yeah.
The Swedish. I tried to watch it with the girlfriend, but
Yeah.
it's not in English.
Right. Did you put on subtitles?
She does. We both hate subtitles.
Right. And you're also you're farther away from the TV. It's probably like you kind of got.
I'm not. We ended up watching Sound of Metal.
Whoa.
Didn't finish it.
You didn't finish Sound of Metal? Where did you stop?
Where did I stop?
He can't hear.
He was
You
playing.
stopped at that part where he can't hear
He
anymore.
was playing the drums, and then we were like, "That's pretty good," and then we shut it off, and then we got a cannoli.
You heard the sound of metal music, and you're like, "All right, I think I get it."
I think
I get
this
what
is the movie, right?
I think I get what it's about.
And then my girlfriend has red hair, and the lead had red hair, the girlfriend, and she was like, "Huh?" And I was like,
relatable,
"Yeah."
relatable.
And then we
Yeah.
shut it off.
Yeah, and you've always wanted frosted tips, so
I mean, I've been
it's very
saying for
relatable.
years I want to be a Middle Eastern man with frosted tips, and we've yet to get there.
So what? You didn't finish it.
No, I'll tell you when I stopped. So to
Yeah.
give people, tell people what's going on. Sound of Metal it's a drummer in a metal band, and he loses his hearing,
Yes,
and he has to learn how to adapt with that.
and he's in a 2-piece band. It's him and his girlfriend.
Correct.
That's-
Yes, 2-piece band. Which may I first say, as someone that enjoys rock,
Yeah.
they were not good.
No, they were
They
not.
were
good.
very bad.
They were the equivalent of like that small art gallery exhibit that you go to, and you're just like, I don't get anything that's happening here. But a
That's
lot of people
all
do.
art galleries to me. That's just an art gallery. It's not a small niche. It has everything going on.
Yeah. You think the same thing about the entirety of the Met. You're just like, there's not a single thing here I get. I
This
don't
is
understand.
me at the Met. Gay. And I leave.
Okay.
I'll tell when I left off is when he got the surgery,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, okay.
All right. Yeah. I mean, the ending's good.
I mean,
But
it's
you
also
get it.
long.
Yes.
It was real, and like, it's how much of the struggling do I have to watch? I get it.
Yeah.
It was 2.5 hours of him struggling. That he got the surgery, and the guy's like, "Why'd you get the surgery?" He's like, "Cause I'm a fucking musician, you dick."
Well, I liked that twist at the end of like him. Well, so
You can tell me the ending. I'm not gonna
well,
watch
he's
it.
just so you don't know what it's like when he finishes the surgery.
He has the bandages on, and he's like, "Yeah, I got the fucking
Oh,
surgery."
so he hasn't turned it on yet.
I guess not. I assumed he did.
Because basically, it turns out like it's a horrible way of hearing. Like
I would imagine.
it's like, you know how I don't know if you've talked to people who have hearing aids, but like they basically have no perception of depth. Everything is just flattened. So you just hear,
interesting.
You just hear one sound.
Interesting.
So that's why like people who are like it's not so much the ability to hear, it's the depth of hearing. Right? So it's like
Interesting.
if they're in a crowded place and you're talking
You
to
hear
them,
everything
you
equally.
hear every single thing. So that's him realizing that suddenly his world is just this flat sound, single sound, and it's like it kind of is terrible. Like he ends up at like a house party and he can't function, he can't
Right.
communicate, and then it just becomes like, oh, I'm a deaf person. You know what I mean? Like I can't fix. I'm not. There's no fixing this. This is who I am.
You would think the surgeon would he's like, "Oh yeah, you want the surgery?" Just to let you know.
And like when you do hear when the doctors talk, they're like, it's not gonna be what you think. Yeah,
I really didn't like anyone in this movie. Like there was no one I was rooting for. I wanted him to be deaf. The girl was kind of a bitch. The guy with
kinda
the
was
sign
rooting-
language was like not being compassionate. It's like, come on,
I was
everyone.
rooting for the counselor. And you know what? There was that, and it's kind of, it ends on that note of like, you can fill in the blanks of what the rest of his life is kind of going to be like. I imagine, you know, like it's a buyer's remorse thing with the hearing. It ends up being like, he has this really nice moment where like he goes to see the girlfriend again and she's basically moved on. That's like,
okay.
that's like the big, you know, he goes to visit her.
Just gets a new drummer.
Yeah, new drummer. yeah. No, she
He's
ends
like,
up.
I'm with a keyboardist now.
She ends up doing a solo career and doing a lot better. So she pulls a Jack White.
She's doing better.
Yeah, she's yeah.
Well, Jack White, that's his sister, right?
No, they were married.
Oh, they were married.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Meg
thought
White-
that was his sister.
No, Meg White was his wife.
Oh, they look very much alike.
Yeah, I get that.
That's uncomfortable.
But it's
that I know this now.
Yeah, and at the same time, I can't picture what her face looks like. I can't.
It's Jack White
Yeah.
with arguably the same size tits.
Yeah, and Jack White just looks like somebody who got pulled out of a river. Dead body pulled out of a river.
Throw a scarecrow in a river and pull it out.
Like those any sort of like crime drama where they like slowly lift the body out of the river and then they show that it drowned. It's always Jack White. They just use Jack White.
Jack White looks like if a burn victim got a good surgery.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, like at any moment, Jack White's face should be falling off. Like pieces of it should be falling off. Yes, exactly. So anyway, Sound of Music. The Sound of Metal.
Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music.
Very different movie than The Sound of
Very
Metal.
different movie.
But surprisingly, no Nazis in Sound of Metal.
Yeah, that would have been great if you were just like, I've been hearing so much about. I thought it was more whimsical. I thought it'd be way more whimsical, and it's not.
I was like,
at
Sound
all.
of Metal definitely going to have some Nazis in it. No, Sound of Music, actually.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's like I put on Sound of Music, confusing them, and I'm like, no one's deaf in this.
But Judi Dench also in Sound of Metal.
When does Rez Ahmed come onto the screen? I don't understand. When do they bring him in?
There's so many fucking hills, man.
Yeah, there's so many hills. There's Nazis in this? Yeah, that's fucking. So another round. How far did you get into it? You literally just
we like
watched
turned it on and
2 seconds?
because I thought it was going to be in English, and then we were like,
They're apparently making a reboot of it. They're gonna make.
everyone's raving about it. So I was like, all right.
I'm only halfway through, so I don't really know where it's gonna go. But up to the halfway point is such a bizarre concept because it's basically about like 4 teachers who like test this. It's halfway they're testing an experiment.
On who could do their job drunk.
Who? Well, they're going off of this theory, which I don't know if they just made it up or if it's a real thing, that they say like men have a deficit of alcohol, meaning like there's like a bucket of alcohol that you can hit, and then you can function more optimally. Like they're saying like below.
They're saying drunkenness is a parabola.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. They're saying like there's a certain amount of alcohol that a person. I think they say just a man. I don't know why. They're idiots.
Because women aren't important.
Yeah, right. Obviously, no. Basically it's just saying like you can hit this level of functional alcoholism, basically, where you can be more charismatic and better and like more optimal at your job. And it's just the minute that they start, you're just like, oh, these are just dudes who want to get shit faced while they're just so wrapped up in this delusion, and they're literally just like stashing like tiny 375s like around the fucking like tiny bottles,
Right.
just to be like, just fucking like drinking on the job. And then suddenly it's like a little bit better, but it's not much better. They're not doing much better at their job.
They're teachers.
Yeah, I know. It's like that's what I love about it is like you're just watching these people it's the equivalent of them being like, what if we did heroin and taught?
That's
the same
teachers,
thing.
though. That's what teachers do.
Oh.
They're alcoholics. This is just a teacher movie. I'm not watching anything. School of Rock, at least the guy's teaching kids how to play the fucking piano.
Yeah. For a minute, honestly, for the first 20 minutes, I was like, are they
just teachers.
Yeah, are they suggesting we should all be a little drunk all the time?
Well, that's Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny that they were just like, I thought it was going to turn into like the dude was an alcoholic and he's like, that's the twist of it. But it's really not the case. He was just basically like, oh, I was so boring in my life, and then I took a shot of vodka, and now I'm fun. And and watching Mad Mickelson,
The guy.
you know the guy.
Yeah.
Be a boring dad who figures out alcohol is fun is so funny. Because he plays such a good, like, boring, like, no... Even though he's, like... Whatever role he's in, he just falls into it.
Right.
Like, he's such a good... Like, he just... Whatever... He can be a Bond villain. He can nail a Bond villain.
Well, he's a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking guy. And he can also nail that fucking video game that we were playing, that Death Stranding
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
He's the main villain of that thing, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's
Interesting.
fucking wild. But yeah, seeing him just be like, oh shit, did I come out?
No, you're good.
Okay, I kicked it a little bit. He has like a conversation with his wife where he's like, am I boring? And she's like, well, you're not the man I married. And he's like, okay.
Okay, let me go to my Bond villain.
Yeah. And just like a little teardrop of blood falls out of his eye.
I like how she's like, yeah, you're a little boring. And he was like, oh, okay, maybe we'll go to a dancing class. He was like, okay, I'm going to become an alcoholic. And then we're just going to see what happens from there.
We're going to see what happens from there. Yeah. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It is interesting that, like, Parasite, I mean, you're right.
I know what Parasite.
Right. But Parasite and Another Round are two examples of, like, they're great movies on their own that have hit mainstream and are readily accessible. And then the American audience is like, yeah, but can we make it a little more U.S.
Yeah, just put it in English. Even dub it. I don't care.
Oh, I hate dubbing.
I'd much rather dubbing than reading the subtitles.
Nothing is more frustrating than like seeing the lips not match up and then seeing somebody like clearly not match what that person was trying to articulate with like their expression. You know what I mean? Like it's a little low, it's a little high. Like they just don't match it. It pisses me off.
I'm not reading subtitles like I'm not going to read a book. I'm not gay. I'm not reading books and I'm not reading subtitles.
You end up what with most subtitles, what you end up doing is like you get the context more from like looking up real quick and then reading it. I mean, I don't know.
Listen, we're fucking USA. We won 2 world wars. Put your movie in fucking English. All right? That's the bottom line of this.
Yeah, exactly. Or pitch it. You like do the US version first, and then you can go do your...
Do whatever you want.
You can go do your Korean version and your
I don't give
Swedish,
a shit.
Swedish, Norwegian?
Something like that. It's all the same up there.
Yeah.
Finland, Sweden, Norway. It's all the fucking same. They're beautiful. They're tall. They got blonde hair. Who cares?
Yes. Yeah. Everybody looks like they live in like a gorgeous mansion. It's just...
But they don't. They live in like little shacks.
Little
and
boxes.
they eat cod.
But gorgeous little boxes.
They're like pink and like turquoise.
Yeah, a lot of hardwood. A lot of hardwood furniture, I guess. I don't know.
IKEA.
A lot of IKEA. Yep. So anyway, that was my night.
Good.
It was just being up and just like, I don't know. It's just like not feeling tired, which is fucking wild. That never happens to me. I never stay up that late. Even if I get a little bit of sleep, I'll usually just
Bad
fall right
snoring.
back. Bad snoring.
That's it.
Bad snoring.
Get that CPAP.
Oh boy. What, the big like Darth Vader mask?
Yeah, you put a little mask on.
That fucking sucks, man.
Well,
That would suck.
that's all it is.
And then she just has to sleep like this. You can't like
Yeah,
roll
you have
over
to be
or
a
else you'll
mummy.
die. Yeah. That sounds terrible. That sounds fucking terrible. Yeah, what's up with you?
Yeah. What's up with me? The girlfriend was here for a week.
Yes.
She was here for a week, and a lot of what I like is because she grew up upstate, and it's just a lot of first for her culturally. It's fun to watch someone experience the first for things that I never even gave mind to. You know, like we get in on the train, we go to the subway, and there's a guy in Penn Station playing Bob Marley.
Okay.
By the way, fantastic. If you're in Penn Station, you got to take the 2-3. The guy's fantastic, and he has
Buffalo Soldier? Or
he was playing all the hits.
He was doing all the hits. Yeah.
It sounded like someone was like playing Bob Marley on a speaker. No, it was a guy playing it
Did
himself.
he get that little like twang to the guitar?
Well, he wasn't playing the guitar. He was playing steel drums.
I thought you were gonna say he wasn't playing the guitar. He was playing his dick. He was jerking off the beat of Bob Marley.
He was just singing Bob Marley, but what he was doing was shitting in a pizza box.
And he was smearing it into a portrait of Bob Marley. You know, the one where half of his face is his face and the other half is a lion?
He's a multiple type artist. He's a shit painter.
Multimedia.
And he was actually went to my high school, and
Right.
he was the serial shitter
The
all
serial
along.
shitter converted to fine art.
And then that was Banksy.
And then that was Banksy.
So, yeah, he was playing steel drums. And she's like, he's good. What's going on over there? I was like, what? Bob Marley? She goes, yeah, but like, what is that? And I was like, there's a play. He puts the money, like it's a jar. You put money into the jar. She's like, no. The big metal thing.
Ah, okay.
She's never seen steel drums before. I was like, how have you never seen steel drums?
Yeah.
She was like, what do? You just like, you yell into it? Like, what's going on with the steel drum?
yell into
Like, no,
it.
you hit it. There's like little inlets. She's like, that is amazing how people. I was like, yeah. A whole subcontinent of people. How have you never seen steel drums? She's like, I don't know. Just there's not a lot of steel drums in Syracuse. I was like, I hear you.
But it's also weird that she didn't like hear the sound and immediately go, "Oh, okay, I've heard that sound a million times on any Caribbean cruise commercial or on any
Never had. Yeah, wait. To
anytime they reference Jamaica, you hear steel drums. You know what I mean? Like that's
Wait, yeah, you should know where they come from.
Yeah.
But like, I guess I don't know. I guess
right.
a lot of
Like,
people
if
don't know what steel drums
If
are.
I never saw an acoustic guitar before, and then I heard, but I always heard the sound of acoustic guitar. The minute that I saw somebody play it, I'd be like, "Oh, that's what that is."
Yeah,
Like
listen.
I feel like the range of musical instruments, and they're so
You shouldn't. You would think.
Yeah, like you ever see the maybe it's like a bassoon where it looks like a giant saxophone, like a
Yeah.
like that would be the one where I would go, why is that saxophone so big? That would be the only if I never like the first time I saw it, I was like, what is happening here?
Mm-hmm.
What do I not understand? But yeah, with the steel drum, I'd be like, yeah, feeling hot.
Yeah, right. Well, that's The Office also
Yeah,
with Michael Scott.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah, but
that's
she doesn't watch The Office. Yeah, I guess.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know how you go
I mean-
27 years and not see steel drums, but she did it. Then,
pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
then we went to Sugarfish. Took her to the old Sugarfish.
Boy, the old SF.
Nice sushi restaurant here in New York City.
Outdoor.
Indoor we did.
Son of a bitch.
We did indoor.
Wow.
No wait, which I did enjoy.
How many tables? How many tables were going?
It seemed like all of them, but they put
that's
plastic
great.
between everyone, so it was fine.
All right. So it looked like a quarantine, like a medic bay sugarfish. You know?
Yeah, if you were on a machine, on a ventilator, but also had access to
exactly.
albacore tuna.
Yeah.
That's what was going on.
In between each person's sushi plate, somebody was getting the vaccine.
Right, exactly. And the food, let me tell you something. They haven't missed a step here at
No.
Sugarfish.
No way.
So
No
we're
way.
looking at the menu, and on the wines list is sake.
Yeah.
And she's like, why is there sake on the wine list? I was like, well, it's rice wine.
What's also a Japanese wine?
Well, yeah, it's rice wine. It's made out of rice.
of
Right,
course.
right.
Of course.
And she's like, no, sake. She's like, you go to like a hibachi place and they squirt it in your mouth. And I was like, you're not wrong,
Yeah.
but it's also a very complicated. You know, it's
She
a.
thought Benihana owned sake.
She thought it was something that you just like, squirt into
You
people's
only
mouths.
shot into people's mouths.
She had no idea you get it in a glass and you get like a little shot, little glass of it. You
It's
pour
an-
it in and you sip on it.
It's an entire category of wine.
She had no idea.
That's
because she's
so
like,
funny.
it says like sweet and like dry, and I was
Right.
like, yeah, because they make it like wine, but it's made out of rice.
When it came
And she
out,
was
when
like,
it came out in the
"What?"
little, when it came out in the little cup, was she just like,
We didn't get it
oh okay? Was
she's
she
like,
just like waiting for them to like throw it at her face?
because I saw someone not knowing
Yes.
like what proper sake is and them overdoing it. Like I saw where it could go
yeah.
for a Monday night.
Yeah. She was like, I don't know if I could have a whole bottle of wine squirted at my face.
No, that's the thing. I could see her just taking it down easy and be like, yeah, that was pretty good. And then it just all hitting at once.
Yes.
Because you don't realize.
Right. And it does, it's, obviously wine is like alcohol or is like liquor where it's like each wine will hit you a little different.
Right. So if to you, sake is just like squirting it in your mouth, you're not going to realize how strong sake is.
Yeah.
So let's just go. We went with the Pinot. Nice little Pinot, which was a good decision.
I always like specifically at Sugarfish, I'll always go with a good Sapporo.
Well-
a good beer to like. It's like before the food comes out and
I
like
like
after.
Sapporo.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, let's also be honest. $9 for a Sapporo, you're ripping me off here because I know it's
Oh.
really a $3 beer.
yeah.
Let's
Well,
be real.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. No, but it's like they jack up the price because you want to feel like you're having a luxurious beer.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? It's not like a place where you can be like, yeah, give me a Bud Light.
It's the Bud Light of Japan. Like, don't rip me off. I know what's going on
Absolutely.
here.
It does have the best package design of the shitty beers. Like it does have that luxurious feel to it. Like you ever see like the
Yeah.
how it comes in like the pint glass, like pint glass cans.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking sick. I love that. Yeah, Sugarfish.
And then a kid I went to high school with died.
Oh no.
He's dead
At
as fuck.
Sugarfish?
He was at Sugarfish.
Yeah.
Rolled over and they're like, anyone want his his hand roll? And I said, pass it over here, you dicks.
Well, actually, you know what? I did have this follow up. How did you order there?
We
'Cause,
did. I did the
this
Trust
is-
Me, which
Yeah.
is their default
that's the
menu,
big one.
and
That's
then
the big
she
one.
did Trust Me Light.
Trust Me Light. Now next time, I highly recommend the Nozawa. The Trust Me Nozawa. That's the deluxe.
That's what I got. I
gotta
got Trust Me Nozawa. I got
That's
Trust Me
the one.
Nozawa. That's what I got.
Because that's it's like the Trust Me. You're gonna be full, but you're gonna be that disappointed full.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Nozawa was perfect.
It's the.
I was still able to go.
You could be like starving, or you could have already eaten, and like just be and
You would've
no
been
matter
fine.
what, that's gonna be the perfect amount of food.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel obviously if you have some food, you're gonna feel a little gross, but you're never gonna be like I'm stuffed. You're gonna be like
I was full.
It's the perfect amount of sushi.
It was very good.
Yeah.
A very good quality.
Yep.
And what else? So the kid dies.
Kid dies. How'd he die?
He's dead.
Is it-
Overdose. Typical.
Sure,
Typical Long Islander.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
That sounded like a joke, but you really do hate to see it.
No, I mean, yeah. What's it? He was a nice kid.
Yeah.
One of those kids that like his first time in rehab was at 12. You're like when you found out he died, you're like, okay.
Is that true?
Yeah.
He actually went to rehab at 12?
Yeah. Or like 13, maybe. Yeah, like one of those kids.
Okay. Wow.
And
That's-
so Jewish kid.
Okay.
So he gets buried within 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
And she said, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, they got to bury."
Yeah.
She was like, "No, you got to have a wake, and then you do."
Well,
I
then
was
they
like,
said Shiva.
Yes, but the thing, she didn't grow up around any Jewish people.
Got it.
So she's like, they do the funeral like right after. I was like, yeah, because that's just, I don't know why the rules are like this. So within 2 days, she finds out the steel drums.
Yeah.
You can't drink sake in
Sake.
a glass, and Jews get buried immediately. And she's like, wait, what's going on? Then we start getting into Hasidic Jews.
Okay.
Because she doesn't know so. She's like, yeah, like all the women, they have like the same hair,
Like,
and it's
what
like,
what do you mean? They can't have like red sauce? It's like acidic. Like she missing.
like what? She just they did Pepto. What are you talking about?
They love Pepto? I don't understand. They love
Their
Tums?
acidic juice are just made out of orange juice. So like, yeah, the Hasidic Jews. Have you ever noticed the women all have the same hair? She's like, yeah, I have noticed that. Why is that?
Right.
She's like, they just cut it all the same. They have like the same beautician. They're like, no, they shave their heads.
Yeah.
And then they buy wigs. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's so men don't become they think the woman's natural hair will turn a man on too much.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's the reason why.
Isn't it that they don't, only their husbands can see their real hair?
It's
sure
a
not
lust
something like
thing.
That? Yeah.
It's
I
lust.
imagine it's something like that.
So yeah, so that's
How-
why they shave their heads to prevent men from lusting too much after them.
How funny would that be if that's how Karens functioned too? Like they all shaved their heads and got that like John and Kate +8 hair. You know what I mean? But like where it's sticking out at the back and then it comes down the side. You know, like the Karen haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Hasidic Jewish women are bald?
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily a case on all, because they can.
For real deal Orthodox Jews, like Hasidic Orthodox Jews,
Really?
they shave their head completely.
Are you Okay.
Yes.
All right. I've never heard that. I just assumed that they wear the wigs the way that any woman would wear wigs, where they just tightly put their hair down and then they just put it over top.
They shave their heads
Okay.
to prevent.
I'd like a second opinion on that.
That's a fact.
Yeah. This could be my first. This could be my first.
Well, if you grow up in Pennsylvania, you probably don't realize this because you're not around them that much.
No. But even being around here, I guess I went with the.
No, they're extreme.
Yeah. Yes.
And also, the women don't have a say in like, nah, you know what? I want to keep it to it.
I'd rather do it.
You know, shut up.
It feels like one of those things like in the Muslim community, like when they have their headdresses, but like underneath that,
We're gonna get to that.
it's a first for her too. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah. I just assumed that they all had like hairstyles underneath, but they were just. It's because of their religion that they're. Okay. All right.
Right off, babe.
It's one of those things that it sounds like that can't be true, but it
It's
probably
so
is.
right. It's
Yeah,
so.
You know what I mean? Like it sounds like I'm like, are you sure 100%? But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
And then we'll go. It's not really Muslim with Sikhs, Indian guys with turbans.
Sure.
She was like, oh yeah, like it's a hat, and it's like, no. Sikh. Oh, you know what? Do you know what a turban is? Are you learning a lot of first here?
No. It's a headdress.
It's a headdress.
It's a head wrap.
With hair. It's all hair underneath there.
Right.
Sikhs can't cut their hair.
Right.
So she was like, what? I was like, yeah. She's like, how much hair is that? It's like enough to design a turban. It's a lot of hair. She's like, that's a lot of hair. She's like, I thought it was just a hat. I was like, no.
I'm trying to picture like other firsts for her that would like I'm trying to like I love your girlfriend, but it would be so funny for her to like have this whole experience of a day and then pass by a plate of buffalo chicken wings and be like, now this I got. This I understand.
Well, let's talk
Upstate
about
New York.
Let's talk about fish and chips for a second,
God.
if you have.
Oh God.
Because here's the thing: in upstate New York, their fish and chips are it's a fish fry. These are two different things
What do
people
you
have
mean?
to realize.
What do you mean?
A fish fry is American. Fish and chips is British.
Well, what's the difference?
So visually, fish and chips is like 3 pieces of cod, beer battered, put in a fryer, taken out.
Yeah, so like a fish stick. Like
Essentially,
a fatter fish.
right, like a fatter fish stick, correct.
Sure.
A fish fry is just a big piece of cod they throw into a peanut fryer, a peanut oil fryer,
Right, but they
and
still
take
do
out.
batter. They still do a batter.
Sometimes not.
Really?
They might not do a batter. They might do like just a flour batter, but they won't do a
Right,
beer
but
battered.
it's brown.
It's browned. It's lighter. It's flakier.
But it's not bone in, right? They take the bone out. They take the.
Sometimes it's bone in. Sometimes it's bone out.
I've
I've
never
had.
seen a bone in.
Well, that's
and
fish
chips.
fry.
Okay.
Fish and chips separate. So when she orders fish and chips here, and she got the 3 pieces individually, she goes, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "What's the problem?"
Yeah.
She's like, "I need a solid piece of fish."
Why?
And I was like, "What?" She's like, "That's what fish and chips is." And
What was her rationale?
because in her head, fish and chips is fish fry.
Right, but okay, but like what is it about 3 individual pieces that she's can't eat that? Like that
It is different.
It's just
it's different. It's different
Is
prepared.
it just like a different? Oh, okay, it's a different preparation. Okay,
It's different
I can
preparation.
live with that. Yeah.
So, because like in Middle America, no one does fish and chips; they do fish fry.
That's so interesting because I don't think I've ever seen fish fry then, because I've only seen fish and chips as that, as
Right.
essentially like a
Fish
chicken-
fry is more popular throughout America.
It's essentially a chicken nugget platter, but it's you swap it.
That's fish and chips.
Chicken tenders. You do chicken tenders, but it's fish on
And
the
it's
inside.
and then like a fish fry is like just going and getting a fried piece of chicken breast.
Yeah. Now I do to the fish and chips. I'm trying to keep these straight because I can't.
It's very
think of-
complicated.
Because
I will
can't-
say.
I honestly can't see a fish fry in my head. Like I only see fish and chips just as one piece.
You've probably never really seen a fish fry because it's not that popular
Right.
along
It
like
doesn't sound like
the
it'd be very-
Mid-Atlantic.
It doesn't sound like it'd be very popular.
Huge, especially in Middle America,
Is
because
it like a Canadian? Does it drift into Canada?
started in Wisconsin,
Okay, so it just jumped. It just jumped to the.
spread throughout. Reason being, during Lent you can't have meat on Fridays, so that's what really caused it to pick up. It's a
Okay.
community event. You go out to the fish fry, and that's why it's so popular.
You know what? I have seen it from an Adult Swim show. Fucking god damn it. Joe Pera. Joe Pera explained. It's
I don't know what that
literally-
is.
It's like this dude. It's the funny. You would hate every second.
I'm
of this
sure
show.
I would.
It's like this guy who's he's the Napoleon Dynamite of quiet talking. You know what I mean?
That sounds miserable.
He's just like a very like gentle, quiet, calming voice, and he's like the creator writer. So I don't know what this character is or where it comes from, but it's this dude in like Michigan, and it's all about him just like in his casual life, and he has a whole episode on fish fry, and it's him and his grandmother going to the fish fry, and
This makes sense.
and he's dreaming about it. Like he's dreaming about every single like the corn on the cob and like the mashed potatoes and like this feast, this Midwest feast that has the fish fry as like the centerpiece. And there it is. Now I'm seeing it because
Yeah.
I'm seeing such a close up visual that he does of it.
There you go.
Shout out Joe Pera. I don't know what.
Not
that
for
guy's-
me.
Yeah, definitely. Not
Shout
for
out
you.
fish fries though. Shout out fish fries. Shout out fish and chips.
There's this great episode where the Clash, that song, Teenage Wasteland, but it's not called Teenage Wasteland. Yeah, never mind. Skip it.
Okay.
Skip it. Okay. So fish fry. That's the first Sikhs.
Sikhs were first.
Yeah.
Just going into like Hasidic Judaism for her was like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean,
It's such a shocking subculture of America.
Right.
And like to me, I go visit her. Amish people built her deck. I was like,
Right.
what the fuck is this?
Right.
She's
Amish
like,
people-
they're Amish.
Yeah, like weirdly, like I think visually there are some comparable traits between like the wearing the black,
Both
and
big hats.
both big hats, the beards, like visually, yes, they're so it's like when people talk about like, yeah, you're from Pennsylvania, I know 2 things: it's Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it's the Amish. Right,
Yeah,
that's it.
right by
and-
each other.
And it's weird because people don't go like, I know Philadelphia. Like I'm very like Philadelphia is like a lot of people know a lot about.
Yeah,
that
but it's a city.
rocky-
It doesn't really like stand out.
No, it's
That's
a very
not-
forgettable aspect. Like,
Right, it's just a city.
It's just a city.
It's a fun. I like it. It's not
fine.
great.
Yeah,
it's nice.
I think I'm convinced that like people who are in Philadelphia like see New York and they're just like, they have like a chip on their shoulder because it's like it's not.
they have a little man syndrome.
Yeah, they have a little man syndrome. Yeah, where I feel like Boston overcompensates, where they're just like, we're fucking big and tough. Philadelphia's just like,
We'll be more racist.
yeah, exactly.
Philly's
yeah.
like, we'll just throw batteries at Santa.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna teach less about cultures. Yeah, New York. All right, so big week for her.
For
A lot of
also,
firsts.
you want a stiff, a stiff situation, a racial situation that
Oh, boy.
happened this
Oh
week.
God. Oh boy.
I produced a show
Okay.
on Thursday. I produced 2 shows this week. One at the Stand, one at Barrow Street Ale House in
Okay.
the West Village.
All right. Is that on that? Is that on like the? Is that like on that Comedy Street?
No, it's right off Christopher Street. Shut up, Dad.
What he doesn't like. Was that his beat?
Do you not know what Christopher Street is?
No. What's Christopher?
It's the gayest street in America.
I did not know that.
Yeah. They told me Stonewall Inn's on Christopher Street, Duplex is on Christopher Street.
Oh, that like split. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the gayest street in America.
Yeah.
I think they actually put LGBTQ way or something.
Yeah, and they have the riot. They have like the massacre.
The Stonewall riot.
Yeah.
Right, that all happened there.
Okay.
So
yeah, I
it's
remember. I passed the plaque, and I remember
the whole
the
thing.
Duplex. Okay.
That's Christopher Street,
Yeah,
and it's right off that.
Okay.
So we're doing a show, and now here's the thing. Barrel Street Ale House, fantastic venue. We're looking forward to producing a lot of shows there.
Amazing.
They're not the best with communication,
Sure.
as a bar is.
As a bar is.
So we're like, all right, so like we know the COVID capacity, what's going on here? And they're like, yeah, maybe it's like 20-ish. And we're like, okay, so we're going to sell about 20 tickets.
Right.
We sell 20 tickets.
Right.
Awesome. Actually, we sell a little bit more, which became a problem, but
Sure.
So we fill out the place.
Great.
Great.
Good to hear.
The host was, I'm blanking out on his name, fantastic, Rashad Bashir.
Okay.
Terrific talent.
Yeah.
He tells a few of his friends to come to the show. Great.
Love it.
They didn't buy tickets,
Okay.
which is a problem. Not usually a problem.
Right.
It's a problem when there's a COVID capacity.
Yes.
So 3 African Americans come in,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, we're here for the show. We're like, all right, you got tickets?
Yeah.
And they were like, no. And we were like, okay, we're already at capacity.
Right.
And they started looking at me, and they're like, is it because of how I look?
Oh.
Now, here's what
Like
I didn't
0 to
know.
60?
Here's what I did. Yeah. Here's what I didn't know before this. They got into a gigantic fight with the bartender / manager about how he like took his mask off to wipe sweat, and they screamed at him for taking his mask off.
Oh no.
So there was already confrontation.
Oh God.
So I was like, I don't even work here. I'm a comic.
Right. Right.
And
yeah.
there were 2.
I mean, but to be fair, you do look like you work at any bar you're in. You do have.
I sound like I work at a bar.
You sound like you look, and like just the black and the black hat.
It's what
you know
it
what I
is.
mean? Yeah.
No, my hair nice.
Yeah.
The guys were like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you worked here. I'm like, no, I'm fucking producing the show. And so they were hammered.
Oh, okay.
But the real problem,
Uh-huh.
they brought a woman with her,
Okay.
with them.
Okay.
She wasn't drunk. She wasn't high. She was other. I don't know what she was on.
Okay.
She couldn't stand.
Oh no.
She was like, what, do you own this place? And I was like...
Did you remind her that you just said?
I was like,
you're
I just
producing?
said... Yeah, and the guys were like, no, he said he fucking runs the show.
Yeah, exactly.
And
we
she
just
was
had
like,
this conversation.
is your daddy the owner? She said that to me, and I was like, oh, you're fun, aren't
Yeah,
you? You're
yeah.
a fun person.
Yeah, I'm so. It's so unfortunate that you can't come into the show because you would be.
Yeah,
a good
here's the
time.
thing, Taylor. They just walked right past me.
Oh, cool.
Which is great.
Cool.
Oh, and here's the thing. The guy who I'm producing the show with, Mehul Patel, shout out Mehul Patel,
Yep.
he sat everyone
Yep.
except for the table right in the front.
Oh, great.
So they just sit down at the table in the front.
Great.
And here's the thing. Guys weren't the problem. They were chit-chatting a little bit here and there. And you know what? We'll yell at you for it. And they were good sports when we yelled at them about it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Taylor. The girl
Yes.
took her shoes off,
Oh boy.
took her bra off,
Oh,
started filming the host,
who she knows.
who I found out later she does not know.
Oh.
Because he's like, he knows the guys.
Right.
Didn't know the girl.
Oh no.
So she's filming
Do
him.
the guys know the girl?
I still don't know that.
Yeah, because
She came in with him.
Yeah.
I don't know for how long they've known each other.
Yeah, like she might have been like, "Hey, do you know what's going on?" They're like, "We're going to a comedy show." She's like, "Great."
And she just came along.
I'm gonna follow you.
So she's filming him, the host. The host gets off, brings up Mayhol, who's going first onto the show. She takes a call during Mayhol's set and starts
Taking a-
apologizing. And we're like,
to
oh,
the person on the phone or to everybody?
bingo to the person on the phone.
Because she's trying to get the person on stage to shut up.
It's I've never seen. Usually, when someone wants to take a phone call, they don't go into a basement.
Right.
They usually go out of a basement
usually
because
leave the basement.
I don't know what cell phone package she has where
Yeah.
she could go through dense concrete
Yeah.
to get cell reception.
Yeah.
But she took a call.
Well, she probably had both vaccines, and it was the 5G from the vaccines. There you go.
There
Bam.
you go.
Nailed it. Bam.
There we go. That's funny.
QAnon documentary.
Thanks, Bill Gates. So she just takes a phone call during Mayhew's set, hangs up the phone, starts posing in front of Mayhew, and they're taking flash photography.
Who are the guys?
The guys.
Why are the guys doing it? They're just they're
in for
Yeah,
whatever
they're just-
she says they're gonna do.
Okay, got it. Okay.
She's some sort of queen bee mentality.
Well, it appears so. Yes, it definitely appears so.
And then they take the flash photography. Mayhew gets off, and they just start filming everyone else's set on the show.
Oh God. Oh no. You
Luckily, it was an okay show.
and it
It ended up being okay.
because everybody was able to move past that somehow.
No, she was very. It would have been one of the best shows ever.
Yeah.
If everyone wasn't watching a comedian and a woman on bath salts. It would have been a fantastic time.
That's so funny. God, that's insane. I mean, it's. I mean, you love to see. I'm glad it's that versus the opposite, honestly, that no one's going out to these comedy shows. You know what
It
I
was
mean?
packed. And also
Yes.
the place, because I kind of skipped over this with the capacity. They were like, oh, yeah, it's like 20 or something. Then we sold out, and they were like, no, the capacity is 17, and we can't have more than 17 because I don't want to lose my liquor license.
I hate so much that anybody who guesses and then they all of a sudden
All of a sudden.
they care the most at that anyone has ever cared. It's like, where have you been?
And then here's the thing. We got 23 people down there. All of a sudden, that capacity didn't matter.
Right.
When they made
Exactly.
$600 in an hour,
Yep.
all of a sudden,
Yep.
that didn't matter. And in fact, the owner pulled us aside and said, we need to do 2 a night.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, bud.
Yeah.
Why don't you figure out how the lights work?
Yeah.
And then we'll
Yeah.
we'll move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why don't you sign over the basement? You give me the it's
Well, which is what Mayhew's trying to get done.
it's Fight Club logic where they go, like you remember that in the movie where
Oh, yeah.
the owner shows up and then they end up paying him or something. No, he bleeds all over his face. Did Mayhew bleed all over the guy's face and now he gets
No, Mayhew, he was a little sweaty.
he's a little sweat.
But besides that,
Tried rubbing his sweat on and the guy's like,
oh yeah, let me tell you what hasn't
he's
gotten
like, are
their.
you doing Fight Club?
I'll tell you who hasn't updated their ventilation system. Barrel Street Ale House basement.
I bet. I absolutely bet.
You want another racial thing that happened to me this week?
Boy.
Another show I produced at The Stand.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like, what was racial about the because you
Because they started thinking that I was telling them they
right,
can't
right.
come in because they're black.
right.
When in actuality, it's because of the laws. And they just went down anyway after already yelling at someone for not wearing their mask. It's like, I was like, what are you mad at?
Yeah, let's preface these with small percent racial, massive percent wild. Because that's just, I mean, after that, it was just like, that's just a fucking bath salts lady going fucking nuts.
Right, but you didn't want
insane.
to address it because then she would have made it racial. When in actuality, it's a chemical compound problem.
Right. And also, I associate bath salts with like meth
White,
and,
never.
Yeah, like white Florida.
I also said bath salts. I don't know what it is. It
bath salts is
definitely,
a good sub in though.
it definitely wasn't alcohol.
Really?
Or weed. It was something else.
Okay.
To take your shoes off and walk around the bar basement in Manhattan.
Yeah, that requires something. That heavy.
Yeah.
That's a heavy duty. That's a heavy duty deal.
But I'm at the stand.
Yes.
And we got 13 people down there.
Downstairs or in the back room?
Downstairs.
Really?
We're doing the downstairs.
And is it peppered or is it like
It was for 13 people. It was good.
that's good?
I didn't think it was going to end up
'Cause
being
you
that
know-
good.
'cause you know,
It's a big space.
I'm worried my perception is like it's either gonna feel good or it's gonna feel like New York Comedy Club open mic where it's that
No, 'cause-
spaced out. You know
Because
what
the
I mean?
thing is, they see people the way someone should be seated. They're professionals at the stand.
Good,
They know
good,
what's
good.
going on.
Yes. Yeah,
So it felt like it was a tight crowd. And I have a joke I do where I say I'm from the same town as the king of Long Island.
right.
And I said, and we all know who the king of Long Island is. And one black girl in the audience yelled out, "The Sopranos."
Okay.
And I
Okay.
said, what? I was like, that's the most racist thing that's ever happened to me. Is for you to look at me, hear how I sound, and go, I'm from Long Island, and you go, yeah, like the fucking Sopranos.
Yeah.
You fucking greaseball sauce monkey. I thought she was going to call me a sauce monkey. I really thought. And
I
was
just love it that you can literally just go, that's the wrong state. You're in the wrong state entirely.
One guy, another guy was laughing, another black guy, and he's like, you're fucking off.
Your geography is, your geography is racist.
And she was like, I was close.
You were not close.
And I was like, you're like 3 bridges off. You're like 3 bridges or a tunnel and a bridge. You're so off.
King of Long Island. And I also love that she just goes, The Sopranos.
First of all, I said the king, not the monarchy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The king of Sopranos. I was like, did you just watch the intro of The Sopranos and thought, that's Long Island?
Yeah, exactly. It would have been funny if you were like, the king of Long Island. She's like, The Simpsons, Family Guy. I don't know what we're doing.
You're like, all I've done is watch the most popular TV shows. Is it Frasier? And you're like, that's a different coast.
Yeah, like she sees Peter Griffin and she's like, that's Family Guy. That's Family Guy, you know? And you're like, no, there's a name. There's a name associated with it. It's Tony Soprano. His name's not Sopranos.
We all know who the king of Long Island is. She goes, bagels?
Yeah,
like, that's
bagels.
not even a person. It's a type of food. What are you talking about with this?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, the king of Staten Island. Pete Davidson, there it is. Boom, bingo. I feel
King
like
of Staten Island.
That would have. Staten Island. Yeah, see, now I'm off.
Yeah, that's more right than what she fucking was.
There you go. That's so funny.
She was also like, her and the boyfriend were offended. It looked like they were offended by everything every single person said. Which is like, they were the worst audience members in history.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Even the host was Dara Jamont. I feel like that was her last name. She did a great job. Black girl who grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey, wealthy town. And she was talking about like how it was also the first town to bring in segregation. And the girl's face was like, I was like, are you anti-segregation? Like, what? She's promoting
Wait. Hold on. I think you're confusing. They abolished segregation.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Bringing
First
in
one to
segregation
abolish.
would split.
Yes, first one to abolish segregation.
Yeah.
She had a whole-
And
that was
then
like,
when you were like anti-segregation, I was like, okay, wait.
yes. Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are anti-segregation.
Yes. They abolished it. And
That's
she
so
was like
funny.
offended by it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What are you a fan of?
Well, so this is something that I've been talking about with a lot of people, and it's not. I think it's twofold there, which is number one, there's a lot of people who are just like clenched at topics for comedy. That's just the trend. But then I also think that there's this other thing where like people are like anxious, period, existing.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That's what it is.
That's
Because
what
it's
it
like,
was.
It's like I think everybody, because everybody who I've talked to, there's this idea of like you're getting vaccinated, everything's opening up. But then there's also this idea of like we spent an entire year not trusting complete strangers anywhere at all. Like you just look at a stranger and you're just like, I cannot trust you to be like, what are you doing? What's your mask policy? What are you doing? Are you following it? Are you gonna give me COVID? Like what's going? Like
Which is no problem.
of course, there's no problem.
But then don't come to a comedy show.
Right. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I also think it's an age thing because like you had this girl who was black, her boyfriend, I'm guessing boyfriend, white guy,
Okay.
clenched. Next to them was this, we found out, mid-40s black couple
Yeah.
who was down for everything.
Yes.
Like I was just perform. It got
Love
to
to
a
see
point where you just perform for them.
Well, I mean,
And then next to them was like this 2 Indian guys who did not speak English, we found out. It was like, why are you? It was like people were like, how did any of you find out about this
they
show?
came here only for the cadences. They only wanted to hear like the rhythm of a joke.
Right.
They didn't care. if
When
they
I
could
said I used to
understand
do cancer research, they were like, all right.
it. Yeah.
And then
Kind
I
of
told a
understand.
joke about it, and they're like, we lost you.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna.
Because they were doctors, we found out.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's what we found out. And we were like, shouldn't you save people?
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Right. You shouldn't be here. It's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. Go save people.
Go save people. Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. Yeah. The what you want out of an audience member is we're on board for everything. I don't know how you communicate that, but it's like you gotta like it's almost like there should be a sign right before you walk
Right.
in any room. Just be open to anything. It's like, you know how like fucking shitty improv shows have to remind people like we're making it up on the spot. It's like you almost have to.
It's unfortunate that you do have to do that now.
Yes, yeah. Like just be like, hey, listen, we understand where you guys are at. We understand we're gonna jump into some territory. Just try to be cool. Like nobody's here to have a bad time. It's like it must be so fucking
That's
hard.
why Matt Richards, comedian,
Okay.
he's always at New York Comedy Club. He will, whenever he'll do like a racy joke, for lack of a better word,
Right.
and people don't laugh, he goes, yeah, this says Comedy Club,
Yes.
not Clenched Asshole Society. It's like we are allowed to make any joke we want up here.
That's
because
so
you
funny.
paid a ticket to see that.
Right. You didn't
Don't forget that.
Yeah. If you wanted to pay to be uncomfortable, go get your teeth cleaned. It's
Right,
just
exactly.
Go to the dentist.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's
Yeah,
very
you
good.
You can use that. Now that it's recorded, you can use it, and then I will sue you down the line.
You don't have any fucking legal power.
Yeah, I got no legal power.
That's it.
That's it.
An hour.
I think
Are we getting pho? Or are we not getting pho?
Let's absolutely get pho. I'm dying for pho. I want pho so bad.
We're getting pho, team. All right. Adios.
Bye.